guys, welcome to Arcane Duels. I'm Coshade, and today I have a very special match to bring you. We're going to be having a rematch with Lord0fWinter. And the last match we did, it was basically a wizard versus my necromancer, I believe, and it was just a fun match. And this match is going to be just as fun. I am recording this after the fact, so I know the outcome, but it is a blast. And basically, I'll be playing the priest, and he plays a beastmaster, and it is a fun match. So definitely enjoy it. Here's a little thing about my priest, really quick, and Lord0fWinter will talk about his book. So today I'm going to be running the Holy School, and I'm going to be running the priest. The priest. But you'll always lose to the priest, because all the mages, it's obviously that if you don't play the top three, you're going to die every time, right? No! For anyone that thinks that, honestly, like, any of the mages aren't viable to use, I think you should just see people that have tried playing them a lot and have developed certain strategies, because I believe that all the mages can get used in some sort of way. Anyway, that is off topic. Let's get back on topic here. The priest. More like the Holy School in general. What I'm going to be doing is playing a longer game priest, which is probably one of the most uncommon things whenever I look on how priest builds are made. It is literally one of the longest game builds I've ever seen. Just straight up. It's going to be using a lot of little critters and a few big ones if you need them. I very rarely cast the big ones. So let's talk about it. Turn 1. Oh yeah, before we get there really quick. I've been finding that the priest is better in the early game, and the priestess is better in the late game when it comes to this book in particular. And I actually think, in general, that's how it's going to be, because it may not be for the reasons that you think, and I'll get to it later. The reason why for the priest right now is because, literally, he can burn and daze on his punch, which is pretty ridiculous, and he can have a creature that can cost very little mana that can basically get a free bear strength kind of buff, a very nice buff for very cheap. I'll talk about the priestess later when we talk about the late game. But for this game, I'm going to be using the priest, and I would definitely suggest trying with the priest first, because if you go into the priestess, you'll have all this mana and you won't know what to do with it necessarily, which is a fun place to be at. So anyway, the priest. The priest in this book is going to start out with it's going to start out round 1 with a harmonized temple. Round 2, 2 Assyrian clerics, 1 mana crystal. That's going to be your whole round. You're just getting creatures out, you're getting more mana, and you're effectively at, 9, 2, 2, 1, 14 mana at the end of round 2. Granted, you're not generating that mana until round 4, because your clerics have to pray, but that's totally fine. The reason why that's fine is because if anyone's going to rush you, those 2 clerics will win you probably like 75% of the time. They are so versatile in what they do. If your opponent rusher chooses to fireball them or something, or kill them, one, it's really hard to because they have 1 armor and 6 life. So they have to use some sort of level 2 spell, and probably spend more than the 5 mana that you spent, or 6? Maybe it's 5. It's one of those things. I think it's 5. To summon them. And that just puts you in a bigger lead in the longer run. If they choose not to rush you, which most of the time they won't, you can pray with them, and I suggest you start getting out Assyrian Defenders. That's the mid-game you want to go for. What you're going to do is I have 4 Assyrian Defenders in this build. I have 3 Bear Strengths, and I suggest maybe using 2 on one of the Assyrian Defenders and 1 on yourself. Or you can use them in the Assyrian Defenders. It depends how aggressive your opponent is being. The more aggressive your opponent's being, the more you want to consider using your mana to heal yourself. Because in this book, there's very low armor. There is not much armor, because this book, I'm taking on a new philosophy for the Holy School that I don't see mentioned a lot, and that is constant healing. How are you healing, you ask? Well, Regrowth, which I barely ever cast, to be honest, which Regenerate 2 I don't think meshes well with the Holy School. especially in this book. Maybe it does in other books, but I think that might be people trying to force it into other things that may be more appropriate for nature classes, to be honest. Um, anyway, I have a regrowth, not a regrowth belt, because I actually might want to use it for other creatures, depending. I'm not sure yet. But I also have two minor heals, two normal heals, two healing charms, a healing wand, and a hand of Bimshala. And why are all those things important, you ask? Well, your opponent will see you have low armor, and they, in the most times, try to rush you down. They just go like, hurl a boulder, hurl a rock, an octagon, I'm going to throw a ballista on your face. Ah, look at me, I can do all this attack damage. That's fine. Because as long as you can heal more or on par with how much damage they're doing, you can pull out in the end because you are every round still generating an Assyrian Defender. And this is why you choose the Assyrian Defender, in my opinion, because they cost less than the Knight of Westlock, and then you put a Bear Strength on them to make them equal to Knight of Westlock. But if you don't have the mana, then you heal yourself. And so the whole dynamic is how much power can you generate in terms of attack dice with your creatures versus how much do you need to conserve your mana. And keep in mind you're dealing with 14 mana around effectively so that you can heal yourself. So, if they do attack your temple, I have two Guardian Angels and I have a Defend. And you can effectively get them out in one turn and cast Defend on them. And the reason why I don't like casting them normally is because I don't believe their intercept is really worth saving the temple for. Because by the time they focus on your temple, you usually have 4 to 5 creatures out, and if you just bear strength them and go for the kill, it's very rare that I've been finding that they can kill you. So you may ask, what does kill this? Well, attack spells directly don't necessarily work. I'm not saying it's completely ineffectual, but wizards tend to have a very rough time if they just use the wizard's tower, and especially if they are on octagon, for instance, they just use ballista. If they're not focusing on your tower necessarily, or if they do, or I'm sorry, if they don't focus in your temple, or even if they do, you still have all these creatures out, and I've been finding I can deal with wizards very well. But what is causing me lots of problems is things like Deathlock. Idle Pestilence, not so much, because I have a unicorn in the book, and what I do is I move as just a ball, and I usually just abandon the temple, kill the Idle Pestilence, and then I just kill everything else on the way. And against the Deathlock, though, I have Force Hammer, I have Brogan Bloodstone with Bear Strength and Charge, and I have some Acid Balls and things like that. I have 4 of them in this book. And Deathlock is giving me so much trouble that I just try to counter it as much as possible. I don't have Divine Intervention, but I would consider putting it in. I'm not against it to kill that Deathlock. um, so that's kind of a rundown of how this book works. So enjoy the match.
So today I will be using the Druid. Um, and the basic idea of the book is that I'm going to use Philela, Pixie Familiar, to enchant a bunch of Timberwolves. So what I'm going to do is on turn 1, I'm going to bring out Philela and harmonize her. Then on turn 2, I'm going to tree bond to a vine tree. And then on turn 3, I'm going to bring out a Timberwolf. And from then on out, I will proceed to enchant it with a bunch of enchantments. Now, the inspiration from this book, the original idea didn't come from me. It came from an old book on the forums, about a year or so old almost, by Charmina, one of the best players out there, if you know anything about Mage Wars. He hasn't been around for a while, but he's widely regarded as one of the best players. So in his book, he used Tinkerbell in kind of the same way, except he used her to enchant a guardian angel. The reason I'm using a Timberwolf is because Academy came out and it introduced a bunch of new enchantments that can either target animal creatures or minor creatures, something that a Timberwolf is both of. So the idea is to just pile on the enchantments. I'm talking Bear Strength, Lion Savagery, Rhino Hide, new stuff, like Dodge, from Academy, which is basically a block for minor creatures. So it's a cheaper version of block. Stuff like Gator Toughness, Iguana Regrowth, Panther Stealth, which is a cheaper version of Mongoose Agility for minor creatures, and Wolf Fury. Not to mention things like Arcane Ward for defensive purposes. So the basic idea is to get all of this on one Timberwolf and make it into this insanely powerful creature. Then, whenever it dies, or before it dies, excuse me, I will have brought out a second Timberwolf, and one of the many enchantments I will have put on the first Timberwolf is an enchantment transfusion. So that when it does die, because, I mean, let's face it, it's not going to last the entire match, I will simply transfuse everything on that first Timberwolf onto the second Timberwolf and just start at it again. And then if that one dies, I'll do the same thing to a third one. Hopefully. That's the idea. But hopefully it's a good match, and I hope you all enjoy it, and I will see you back here at the end.
Alright, so this is round 1. Okay, so Druid versus Priest. Luckily I get to burn things, so
That is true.
You know, not that it really matters that much. But during first quick cast, I'm going to pass.
I will also pass.
Okay, main actions. I'm going to cast, spend 10, cast Temple of Asira.
Sorry. By the way, can I put out a vine mark?
Oh, yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
Full action, I will pay 12 and bring out Philela,
Oh, man.
aka Tinkerbell.
Bring it out. Okay, I see what you're doing. Alright, well, during my quick cast, I am going to spend 2 and reveal for 2. Harmonize my temple.
With my quick cast, I will spend 2 and reveal for 2. Harmonize and Philela.
Alright, and that's the end of the round. Alright, sir, well, it is deployment, and it's your initiative.
I will just place another vine.
Cool, and I am going to use my temple. I'm going to get an Assyrian Cleric.
Yay.
2 off that, and then 3 off my supply. And I'm going to get an action marker from you.
Yep, sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries. Alright. And red markers. So I'm going to burn your forest, although there may not be a forest. I don't know. Alright, man, since you're quick.
I'll skip my quick.
I'm going to pass as well.
Alright. With Philela, I'm going to pay 2 and put this on herself.
Okay. Alright. I'm going to spend 5. And I cast another Assyrian Cleric.
Okay. And another marker.
And it's your main action?
With my main action, I will equip an Enchanter's Ring on myself for 2.
Sounds good. All the enchantments.
Pretty much.
Alright, and your quick cast?
Yeah, I will quick cast Divine Tree.
Nice.
And then Tree Bond to it, of course.
Tree comes out. Okay, well, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend 5, and I'm going to place a Mana Crystal.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's the end of round 2. Alright guys, so it's round 3. It's my initiative. During deployment, I'm going to cast Assyrian Defender.
Yay.
Woo! Defenders are coming out. Thank you, sir.
And I will put out a Vine marker. And then pay 1 off Vine Tree and put another.
Okay. Another vine marker.
Might as well.
You're scaring me. Those vines.
Might as well.
Alright, so it's a quick cast. I'm going to pass my quick.
I will also pass.
Okay, during my main action, I'm going to spend an action and pray, getting a mana here.
Okay, not with her. With my Druid, I will use my main action and pay 9 and bring out a Timberwolf.
Timberwolf. Okay, with my other cleric, I'm going to pray, Getting another mana on the temple.
With Philela, I will pay 2 and put this on the Timberwolf.
Oh man. With all the new cards that are out, it could be anything. Okay, so it's my action.
Yeah.
For my main action, I'm gonna spend 3. Cast a Dawnbreaker Ring on myself. And that's my quick cast. I'm gonna spend 2 and put enchantment face down on myself. That's your action.
Yep, I will pay 1 and quick cast a face down enchantment on the Timberwolf.
Oh man. Okay. And that's the end of the round, sir. What a build up.